Hello and welcome back to After Work English. I'm Sophie.
And I'm Jake. Come in, sit down, take a breath, and let the day be a little softer for a while.
Today we're talking about something very real and, honestly, something a lot of people quietly struggle with. How to stay disciplined when you do not feel motivated.
Which is almost every normal Tuesday.
Exactly.
Or Thursday. Thursday can be very suspicious.
Very suspicious. Very low energy. Very snack heavy.
Yes, a day when your big dream disappears and somehow your phone becomes the most interesting object in the universe.
We know that feeling. You want to study, exercise, clean your room, answer your emails, maybe even go to bed on time. But your mind says, no, absolutely not. Let's scroll and become one with the sofa.
Deep sofa energy.
So in this episode, we want to help with that exact moment. Not the perfect day, not the inspired day, not the magical morning when you wake up ready to change your life. We mean the ordinary day, the tired day, the busy day, the day when motivation is missing, but life still continues.
We'll talk about what discipline really means, why motivation is not a good boss, and how to make useful action feel smaller, calmer, and more possible.
And we'll keep it practical. No shouting. No wake up at 4 a.m. and become a machine energy.
Thank you. My soul cannot handle that.
And if you are around B1 to B2, you do not need to catch every word today.
Stay with the main ideas and come back later for another listen if you want more.
Mine neither. Before we go deeper, here's a small question for you. Think of one thing you often avoid when you have no motivation. Maybe it's studying English, going for a walk, washing dishes, writing that message, or starting your work. If you want, you can leave a comment with this sentence. When I lose motivation, I usually avoid.
And if you do that, keep it simple. One honest sentence is enough. Sometimes naming the problem already makes it less scary.
Yes, once we name something, we can work with it.
So, Sophie, let's start here. What is discipline, really? Because I think some people hear that word and imagine a very serious person with a hard face and a color-coded schedule.
I know. But for me, discipline is much gentler than that. Discipline is not punishment. It is not being cold to yourself. It is not forcing yourself to suffer. Discipline is simply the ability to do a small, helpful thing, even when you are not in the mood.
I like that. A small, helpful thing.
Yes, because people often make discipline sound dramatic. But in daily life, discipline is usually quiet. It looks like opening your notebook for 10 minutes. It looks like putting your phone in another room. It looks like saying, I don't want to, but I'll do the first 5 minutes.
So it's less about power and more about steadiness.
Exactly. Steadiness is a great word. Not fireworks, not a big emotional moment, just steadiness.
That already feels easier, because motivation is emotional. It comes and goes. Some mornings you feel bright and ready. Other mornings you feel like a potato with responsibilities.
Yes, and that's why motivation is useful but unreliable. Unreliable means you cannot trust it to always be there.
That's a good word for today. Unreliable. Motivation can be lovely, but it's unreliable.
Right. It's like a friend who sometimes helps you move house, but sometimes disappears and says, sorry, my phone died.
Motivation texts you 3 days later. Hey, just saw this.
Exactly. So if you build your whole life on motivation, you will always be waiting. And waiting is a risky habit.
That is such a key point. A lot of people think, I'll start when I feel ready. But ready is not always coming.
Yes, And sometimes the feeling of readiness comes after you start, not before. This matters so much. Many people believe action follows motivation, but often action creates motivation.
Say that again, because that is gold.
Often, action creates motivation. You begin with very little energy. You wash one plate. You read one page. You put on your shoes. And then your brain says, "Oh, we are doing this now." That tiny movement creates momentum.
Momentum is another useful word. It means movement that becomes easier after it starts.
Exactly. A bicycle is hard to push at first, but once it moves, it rolls more easily. That's momentum.
So when people say, "I have no motivation," maybe the answer is not, "Wait for motivation." Maybe the answer is, "Create a small beginning."
Yes, a beginning small enough that your tired brain does not panic.
Let's talk about real life, because this is where people need help. Imagine someone comes home after work. They are tired. Their brain feels full. They want to improve their English, but they also want to lie on the bed and watch videos.
Very realistic.
Too realistic.
In that moment, discipline is probably not saying, "Now I will study English for 2 perfect hours with full concentration." That is too heavy. The brain will run away. A better version is, "I will listen to English for 8 minutes while I make tea." Or, "I will review 5 words before I shower."
So the first trick is to make the task smaller than your resistance.
Yes, resistance is the feeling that pushes back. That inner, that small wall inside you.
Ugh is such a real emotion.
It truly is. And if the task is huge, resistance becomes huge too. But if the task is tiny, resistance often drops. You are not trying to climb a mountain. You are just putting on your shoes.
This reminds me of brushing your teeth. Most people do not wait for motivation to brush their teeth. They just do it, because it belongs to daily life.
That's a perfect example. Discipline works best when an action becomes normal, not dramatic. When it becomes part of your identity, part of your rhythm, not a daily debate.
A daily debate is exhausting.
It is. So one powerful idea is this: reduce decisions. If every day you ask, "Should I do it? Do I want to do it? Maybe later," you use a lot of mental energy. But if the action already has a place in your routine, there is less discussion.
Less negotiation.
Yes, exactly. Less negotiation with yourself.
That makes me think of another useful word: default. A default is what happens if you do not choose something new, like a normal setting.
Right. So if your default after dinner is sitting with your phone for an hour, that is one kind of system. But if your default becomes 10 minutes of reading before phone time, that is a different system.
I like that, because it feels less like changing your whole personality and more like changing the path.
Yes. Think of discipline like building a little path through grass. The first time, it is hard. The grass is tall. The way is unclear. But if you walk the same path again and again, a clear line appears. Walking becomes easier.
That is such a gentle image. You're not becoming a robot. You're making a path.
Exactly. And paths help tired people.
Let me bring in a mini story. I know someone who wanted to start exercising in the morning, but she kept failing because her plan was too big. She imagined a full workout, special clothes, music, maybe a perfect sunrise, maybe a new personality.
Ambitious.
Very cinematic. But real life was different. She was sleepy, cold, and slightly annoyed by existence. So she changed the rule. Her only rule was put on exercise clothes and stand outside for 2 minutes.
That is brilliant.
Because on some mornings, she came back inside after 2 minutes. Fine. But on many mornings, once she was already dressed and already outside, she walked for 10 minutes, sometimes 20. The small rule carried her over the hard beginning.
Yes, this is the heart of discipline. Do not ask, how can I become a perfect person? Ask, how can I make starting easier?
Easier is not lazy.
No, easier is smart. People confuse difficulty with value. They think if something feels hard, it must be important. But often, what matters is repetition, and repetition needs sustainability.
Sustainability means something you can continue for a long time.
Exactly. If your method is too painful, you will not keep doing it. And if you cannot keep doing it, it does not help much.
So maybe discipline is not about intensity. Maybe it is about reliability.
Beautifully said. Reliability means you show up again. Not always perfectly, but again.
Again is a strong word. Quiet, but strong.
It really is. And this matters emotionally, too. When you keep one small promise to yourself again and again, you build self-trust.
Self-trust. That one hits me.
Me too. Self-trust means you begin to believe your own words. If you say, I'll do 10 minutes, and then you do 10 minutes, your mind learns, oh, we mean what we say. That feeling is powerful.
And maybe that is one reason discipline feels calm. It tells your nervous system, you are safe with me. I won't abandon you every time things feel difficult.
Yes, that's lovely and true. Discipline can be a form of care, not harsh care, faithful care.
Let's talk about another daily scene. Imagine a learner who wants to study English, but every time they sit down, they feel behind. They think, my grammar is weak, my speaking is slow, I should be better by now. Then, shame enters the room, and suddenly, watching random videos feels easier.
This happens all the time. And here we need to separate discipline from self-attack. If you are cruel to yourself, your brain will start connecting study with pain. Then, of course, you avoid it.
So the voice matters.
Very much. Instead of saying, why are you so lazy? Try, you're tired, but let's still do a small piece. Instead of, this is hopeless, try, a small step still counts today.
That sounds simple, but it changes the atmosphere.
It does. The atmosphere matters. We are more likely to return to actions that feel possible, safe, and clear.
Here's a phrase people may hear in self-help spaces. Remove friction. Can we explain that simply?
Yes. Friction means little difficulties that make a task harder to begin. For example, if your English notebook is hidden in a drawer under 6 old papers, that creates friction. If your headphones are never charged, that creates friction. If you do not know what lesson to do next, that creates friction too.
So friction is like tiny roadblocks.
Exactly, tiny roadblocks. And discipline gets easier when you remove them before the difficult moment arrives.
This is why people lay out their clothes the night before, right?
Yes, or put a book on the table, or write tomorrow's first task on a sticky note, or save one podcast episode in advance. These are small acts of preparation, but they protect your future self.
Protect your future self. I like that a lot.
Me too. Because the future version of you may be tired, distracted, or low on willpower. So present you can be kind and helpful.
Let me give another mini story. There's a man I know who wanted to write every evening after work. But every night he said, I'm too tired. Then he noticed something. He was not only tired, he was also undecided. He spent 20 minutes wondering where to begin, what to write, and whether the writing would be good.
Ah, that mental fog.
Yes. So he changed one thing. Before finishing work, he wrote one sentence for tomorrow. Tonight, open the document and write about the meeting on the train. That was it. Suddenly, evening writing became easier because the first step was waiting for him.
That is such a great example. Clarity reduces resistance. If the first step is clear, the brain does not have to fight through confusion.
Confusion is underrated as a problem.
So underrated. People say, I'm lazy, when actually they are overwhelmed, tired, unclear, embarrassed, or afraid of doing it badly.
That is a very important sentence.
Yes, sometimes I have no motivation is not the full truth. Sometimes the deeper truth is, I'm afraid this will be hard, or I don't know where to start, or I'm already disappointed in myself.
And if that is the real problem, we need a different answer.
Exactly. If the problem is fear, make the task safer. If the problem is confusion, make the first step clearer. If the problem is tiredness, make the task smaller. If the problem is shame, make your inner voice kinder.
That feels much more human than just yelling, "Be disciplined."
Because humans are not machines.
Thank goodness.
There's another metaphor I love. Discipline is like a bridge between your values and your daily actions. Your values are the things that matter to you: learning, health, calm, growth, honesty, care. But values alone do not move your feet. Discipline is the bridge that helps you cross from "I care about this" to "I did something about it today."
A bridge, not a prison.
Exactly. A bridge.
I want to bring in busy adults because many listeners are balancing work, family, messages, chores, and tired brains. If you only have a little energy, what should discipline look like?
It should look realistic. Realistic discipline might be 10 focused minutes, not one heroic hour. It might be one page, one paragraph, one walk around the block, one healthy meal, one email answered, one sink cleaned. Life is often built from modest acts.
Modest means simple and not too big.
Yes, and modest acts still matter, a lot. People underestimate the power of repeated small actions because they are not exciting. But calm progress often hides inside boring repetition.
Boring repetition sounds like terrible advertising, but I know it's true.
It really is true. Think about language learning. One dramatic session can feel amazing, but 10 small sessions change your actual ability.
Same with fitness, same with money, same with sleep.
Yes, and one more thing. Discipline includes restarting. This is huge. Many people miss 2 days and think, well, I ruined it. But the real skill is returning.
Returning without a big drama.
Exactly. No long speech, no punishment, just return. A very useful sentence is, I am starting again today.
That sentence feels clean.
It is. Another good one is, a pause is not the end, because life happens. People get sick, travel, feel sad, get busy, lose rhythm. That is normal.
So discipline is not never falling off. It is knowing how to climb back on.
Beautifully put.
Let's do one more real-life scene. Someone wants to keep their home more organized, but when they lose motivation, everything piles up. Clothes on the chair, cups on the desk, papers everywhere. Then the mess becomes so big that they feel worse and do even less.
Yes, that spiral is common. A spiral is a situation that keeps pulling you down in circles. In that case, discipline might mean a reset ritual. Not clean the entire apartment perfectly, just set a timer for 7 minutes and put obvious things away.
I love a reset ritual.
Me too. It creates a doorway back into action. And rituals matter because they reduce thinking. Light a small lamp, make tea, start a timer, open the notebook. Your body begins to recognize the pattern.
Like a quiet signal.
Yes, a signal that says, we begin now.
That makes discipline sound almost gentle enough to trust.
I think it should be trusted. Not worshipped, but trusted.
Fair.
Also, let's say clearly, rest matters. If you are truly exhausted, discipline is not pretending you are full of energy. Sometimes the disciplined choice is going to bed earlier, taking a walk without your phone, or doing less so you can keep going tomorrow.
That's important. Rest is not always avoidance. Sometimes it is maintenance.
Exactly. Maintenance means care that keeps something working well. Rest can be maintenance for your brain, your body, your mood.
So the question is not only, how do I push myself? It is also, what helps me continue well?
And try making one sentence with two of them together. For example, my motivation is unreliable, so I need a sustainable routine.
Very nice.
Now for a tiny piece of homework. Keep it light. Keep it real. Today or tomorrow, choose one area where you often wait for motivation. Then write this sentence. When motivation is low, my smallest useful step is... and finish it.
Maybe it's, open the app for 5 minutes. Maybe it's, put on my walking shoes. Maybe it's, wash 3 dishes. Maybe it's, read 1 paragraph in English.
And if you want to leave a comment, tell us your sentence. We would genuinely love to hear it.
Also, if this episode helped you breathe a little easier around discipline, you can pass it on to someone who is trying to build a habit, learn something new, or simply be a bit kinder to themselves while still moving forward.
Yes, because that balance matters. Kindness and consistency. Softness and steadiness. Rest and return.
That sounds like the name of a very nice bookshop.
It does, actually.
With excellent lamps.
And one sleepy cat.
Obviously.
Thank you for spending this time with us today. If your energy has been low lately, we hope this episode reminded you that progress does not need to be loud. It can be quiet. It can be small. It can begin again today.
And if all you take from this episode is one sentence, let it be this. You do not need to feel motivated to take one helpful step.
We'll be back soon with another cozy English conversation.
Until then, take care of yourself, protect your future self, and trust small beginnings.
Bye for now.
Goodbye.